I am awake.
Walt isn't just a killer. He is a man with a genius IQ, the resources of an entire empire, and an ego the size of the sun. He is the one who knocks, right? But what if someone like Sherlock or Hans Landa knocks on that door? Let's find out. But before that, I'd like to ask you to do something simple but very important to me. Please like or hype this video, or if you don't like it, let me know in the comments. This will motivate me to keep growing and create something truly unique and interesting for you. Thank you. Briefly, here are the tier system so you understand the rules. Tier S, they'll put Heisenberg behind bars, those who won't just figure it out but will gather ironclad evidence for court and won't blow up in the process. Tier A, they'll find out Walter's secret. They'll realize who he is after one meeting, but Walter will either manage to escape or the evidence will be too circumstantial. Tier B, they'll be close. Good cops who will bust Jesse or Gus, but will leave Heisenberg for dessert too late. Tier C, Walter will outplay them, those who work by the book. Heisenberg eats the system for breakfast. Tier D, they'll end up in a barrel of acid, those who underestimated the old man with lung cancer. Rest in peace. Let's go. Let's start with something grounded. Sheriff Jim Hopper. Look, I love Hopper. He's a tough guy, he's great with his fists, and he isn't afraid of demogorgons. But let's be real, in Albuquerque, Hopper is just a version of Hank Schrader, only without the personal connection to the White family. Hopper's problem is that he's an old school detective. He looks for physical tracks, he looks for bad guys in dark alleys. He looks at Walter White and sees, well, a coughing chemistry teacher. Walter is a master of hiding in the mundane. While Hopper is shaking down local dealers, Walt will give him a classic Heisenberg greeting. Ricin in his coffee, a bomb under his car. Remember what Walter did to Gus or an entire gang of neo-Nazis? He doesn't play by the rules. Hopper is too straightforward. He'll charge in, decide he's smarter than the old man, and in the end, Skyler will be ordering a new barrel of methylamine. Verdict, Tier D in a barrel of acid.
He's been around long enough to know that.
Patrick Jane, the mentalist. Now the game takes a dangerous turn. Patrick Jane is the worst nightmare for a man like Walter. Why? Because Jane doesn't look for fingerprints. He looks for hubris. Let's remember Walt. What is his biggest weakness? Exactly, his incredible, bloated, hypersensitive ego. Walter wants the world to know what a genius he is. Remember the moment with the wine when Hank thought Gal Butcher was Heisenberg? Walt couldn't keep his mouth shut. He literally said, "I think your genius is just a common copycat."
Genius? Not so much.
Patrick Jane would just visit the Whites. Notice how Walter adjusts his glasses, or how he slices his steak with too much technical precision, and start low-key trolling him. Jane would question Walter's intelligence, and Heisenberg, like a fool, would start explaining why his product is purer than anything else on the market. Patrick will read Walt like a children's book. He'll know the secret 5 minutes after saying hello. The only reason he might not put him away is if Heisenberg manages to order his hit first, but the secret will be out. Verdict. Tier A finds out Walter's secret.
Revenge is a hard road, isn't it?
Next up is veteran detective William Somerset. Look, Somerset is damn wise. He understands the psychology of sin. To him, Heisenberg wouldn't be a mystery. Somerset would see the blue meth not just as a drug, but as a manifestation of the highest degree of pride. He would start digging through libraries, through precursor purchases, through the very philosophy of this product. But here's the problem. Somerset is too slow for Walter. In the world of Breaking Bad, everything changes in a week. Labs explode, witnesses die in prison in 2 minutes. While Somerset is methodically cross-referencing data on stolen methylamine from 2008, Walter will have already changed suppliers 3 times and destroyed the entire chain. Somerset will figure it out, but Heisenberg will simply outpace him in the game. I think it's Tier C. Walter will outplay him.
If you were to claim insanity, this conversation is admissible.
Bruce Wayne, billionaire, playboy, and the world's greatest detective in Gotham. Could he? Technically, yes. He has satellites, wiretaps on every cell tower in Albuquerque, and analysis of shipments through Lydia's ports. Batman would bust Los Pollos Hermanos in 2 episodes. But we are fighting Heisenberg, not Gus. Heisenberg is a parasite. He embeds himself into the system. And Bruce Wayne, in this version of Gotham, is tied hand and foot by his moral code. Walter won't hesitate to blow up an entire nursing home just to take out one target. Walter would put Batman in front of a choice. Catch him, or save 100 people in a booby-trapped hospital. Batman will spend forever saving people, while Walter, using his chemistry skills, makes fulminated mercury and blows up the Batcave. Walter knows how to use the weaknesses of heroes against them. Bruce will be very close, breathing down his neck, but Heisenberg will slip away through the chaos. My verdict, Tier B, will be close.
This city just showed you that it's full of people
Ready to believe it could.
Moving on to Holden Ford, the master of profiling. Holden lives inside the heads of serial killers. If Heisenberg gets caught and jailed, Ford will make the best episode of his career about him. But can he catch him? Let's be honest. Holden looks for the typical monsters of that era. His classification system falters when he meets someone like Kemper or Manson. Walter White doesn't classify as a maniac. He has no childhood trauma. He doesn't torture cats. He is a middle-class man driven by revanchism for a stolen future at Grey Matter. Holden will spend 6 months trying to find the mother who didn't love him, while Walter is simply doing business. Ford is too focused on the past, while Heisenberg is a man of the future. Walter will outplay him simply because he is too normal for Ford. For me, it's tier C.
I've read some of your cases.
It's one thing to read about it. It's another to sit 3 feet away from a guy who's delighted to tell you how hard it was to stick his dick in his mother's neck after he sawed off her head.
Rust Cole. Rust Cole is a man who believes in neither law nor rules. He believes in the darkness he sees in people's eyes. You don't need to leave Rust evidence. All he needs is to bump into you at a gas station. Rust will sense the smell of nihilism coming off Walter. He will see that empty gaze of a man who justifies mass murder for the good of the family. Rust is the only one on this list who is willing to wait 20 years. He'll lock himself in a room with cans of beer, hang up photos of missing laundry employees, and won't rest until he cuts open this tumor. Walter won't be able to manipulate Rust because Rust has already lost everything. He doesn't care about threats. He doesn't care about money. Cole will crack Heisenberg open like an old tin can. I think it's tier S.
I mean, it's like somebody's got your name on it, like a bullet or a nail in the road.
Now, Hans Landa. Guys, let's be honest. Hans Landa is the most dangerous intellect in cinema history. This man specializes in finding those who know how to hide. He is a master at finding people under floorboards. Imagine the scene. Landa visits Walter and Skylar. He is polite, he is sweet, he drinks milk. He praises their cozy home. And in that moment, he has already destroyed Walter. Landa won't be chasing a van through the desert. He will put Heisenberg under such psychological pressure that Walt will start suffocating in his own lies. Landa sees through masks. The quiet teacher mask will crumble before Landa in the first minute. Landa is a man without morals, and he sees Walter as an interesting biological problem. Walt will try to negotiate, offer millions, but for Landa, catching such a specimen is an art form. Au revoir, Shoshana, or in our case, goodbye, Walter. Definitely tier S.
I, on the other hand, love my unofficial title, precisely because I've earned it.
Benoit Blanc from The Knives Out. Oh, this would be fun. Blanc loves theater. He loves pathos. Heisenberg, with his black hat and his bass-voiced manner of speaking, is the most theatrical criminal in history. To Benoit Blanc, Heisenberg isn't a threat. He's a poorly written play. Blanc will find that donut hole immediately. The inconsistencies in Walter's legend will shine like a neon sign for Blanc. You worked at a school, got cancer, but suddenly you have hundreds of thousands for treatment despite having no insurance. What an interesting deduction. Walter makes too many psychological mistakes because of his pride. And Blanc will turn Walter's exposure into an elegant show. Heisenberg might try to be dangerous, but Blanc will simply mock his ambitions, proving that Walter is just an amateur in the world of real intrigue. Verdict, tier A, finds out the secret.
But we must look a little closer. And when we do, we see the donut hole has a hole in its center. It is not a donut hole, but a smaller donut with its own hole. And our donut is not a hole at all.
Sherlock Holmes, BBC version. Guys, Sherlock sees the world in code. Walter White prides himself on being an 11th level chemist. But to Sherlock, chemistry is like the alphabet to a child. Holmes will just walk into the lab, look at the blue crystals, and in 2 seconds determine the purity, the composition of impurities, and most importantly, the chemist's unique handwriting. Sherlock will find Heisenberg in one evening just by analyzing the purchase schedule of red phosphorus or methylamine. To him, Walter is a boring case. Oh, you cook drugs because you're smarter than your boss, but you're afraid to admit it to your wife? How primitive. Sherlock will put Heisenberg away without even taking off his dressing gown. Heisenberg is simply not in his weight class. Verdict, S tier definitely puts him away.
Hello.
And the final guest of the program, Albuquerque's dark passenger, Dexter Morgan. And this is the worst possible outcome for Heisenberg. You know why? Because Dexter doesn't care about court. He doesn't care about the law. He doesn't need to prove guilt to a prosecutor. Dexter will see Walter White's dark passenger during their very first accidental encounter at the police department or a crime scene. Dexter will notice that fake, caring family man face because he wears the same face every day. Dexter is a stalker. He will track Walt. He will understand his system of operation. And while Heisenberg is preparing his grand bomb to blow up a competitor, he will simply wake up naked, wrapped in plastic in a deserted basement. And Heisenberg's say my name monologues won't work on Dexter. Dexter doesn't need his name. He only needs his blood sample on a slide. Of course, it's a special tier, Heisenberg on the table. Thanks for watching. If you like this, I recommend checking out these videos as well.